Here's a couple of tips if you want to put a oil finish on your wood stock. For one, we're going to use boiled linseed oil, and the first tip is I want to put a little bit in a separate container so I don't contaminate my whole bottle. Now, using this separate container, I'm going to take a piece of 4/0 steel wool. All right, steel wool comes in different coarseness, and the 4/0s, that's the finest steel wool you can get. All right, 3 is a little bit coarser. It's from ultra fine to very fine, and then once we get into numbers like 1 and 2, then it's like very coarse. And but we're going to stick with the very finest, which is the 4/0 steel wool. We're just going to tear off a piece, and we're going to use a piece of that steel wool to apply that boiled linseed oil to the stock. So I'm going to use this 4/0 steel wool to apply this linseed oil finish. And I'm using the 4/0 steel wool because it's going to be coarse enough to remove any kind of dirt, fingerprints, dust, things like that from the wood. But it's going to be fine enough to where it's not going to take off any of the old finish. So it's not going to strip off anything. It's not going to sand down anything. It's not going to change the shape of my stock or anything like that. It's just going to be a very, very fine steel wool that's going to help me apply this oil and remove minor dirt, things like I said, fingerprints or dust like that. After we do the whole stock, we'll let it sit for about 15 minutes, let that oil soak in. Then we'll take a clean paper towel. We'll wipe off any extra, anything that didn't soak in. So we're gonna leave with this nice oil finish. So we've got a little bit of dirt off of there. We'll let this sit for 24 hours. It should be dry. We'll have a nice oiled stock when we're done.